Coming up, the New Jersey Devils hold off the Vancouver Canucks in a 6-5 road victory. What did we love about this game? And what did we hate between the pipes? We dive in coming up next. Yes, sir. It is DPL, the Devil's Puck Luck podcast, where you know that I am one of your hosts, Adam Armbrecht. Sans Danny McDonough coming back from a Vegas trip. This guy is a frequent flyer and doesn't care about you, the fan. Just kidding. He'll be back in. We'll be previewing the upcoming matchups, obviously, and talking about what is the most glaring issue, and that is the goaltending for the New Jersey Devils, something that we will discuss here on our DraftKings post-game wrap-up. Mentioned there, the Devils take care of the Canucks 6-5. Take care of is maybe a loose term, as we know that the Devils were up massive in this game. Heading to the third period, up 5-2. They end up winning 6-5 because it is a 3-goal third period. And listen, there's a lot of things that we could talk about, including the fact that all three Hughes brothers were on the ice for the first time in their young careers. Obviously, young career for Luke Hughes especially. And that was fantastic. And you saw their parents in the stands, and it was an amazing time. And it was good because the Canucks lost this game, because the Devils got the win. It was good that Quinn ended up putting together a couple of assists late in this game. So the parents got to feel the good vibes all around, right? You get Luke scoring, you got a 3-point day for Jack inside of this one as well. So it was a really, certainly a special moment if you are watching this game and you're thinking about family and you're thinking about the rarefied air that it is for any collection of athletes to not only be able to play against one another, but be on the ice and be in an age range where these guys will be playing hockey for another decade plus, 15 years of being on the ice. And if you're Jack and you're Luke, potentially being on the ice together for the entirety of it. We hope that that's the case when it comes to the New Jersey Devils. But as I mentioned there, we talk about the goals and assists coming out of this game here. So this is a game where the Devils had 4 goals in the first period, obviously. Now they give up that late doorstep goal to make it 4-2 just before the break. That one, listen, is on Vitek, and that's the theme that we're going to have here. Vitek has been pretty darn bad, right? Now, in that sequence, and also in, I think, the game tying or the 4th goal for the Canucks, there are instances when you can look at defensive players. One actually was Luke, where he tries to get out high to break down the puck. He doesn't get there in time, leaves a man Miller in front of the net, makes it a very easy opportunity. Now, that being said, there's a massive rebound given up by Vitek on that play, right? So you're looking for these moments from your goaltending, Vitek or otherwise. Every team is looking for your goaltending to give you these 2 or 3 really critical moments throughout games to help lift your team, to help avoid a problem, right? To help take it from being a 4-2 game, keep it at 4-1 going into the second period. When it's 5-2, yeah, you want him to go ahead and stand on his head a little bit. I believe it's Timo Meier that's a little bit soft defensively in front of the goal. Yes, it gives an opportunity for the Canucks, but this has really been my theme, and we'll get to here in just one second, when it comes to Vitek relative to last year coming into this year and just where we stand right now. We're going to go big picture when we have Danny on here with us, because it's just easier, more interesting, and certainly a little bit more, we'll say, optimistic when it's just me, maybe a little more pessimistic when it's just Danny. So we put us together and we give you a balanced approach there. Inside the numbers, just real quick, as I mentioned, Jesper Bratt, he gets back on the score tally here. I think he has now 4 consecutive games with at least a point. Maybe no. I think it's 6 games with at least a point, but gets 2 goals inside of this game. Had 6 shots there. 5 shots, excuse me, in this one as well. Holla got on the scoreboard in his return, took 2 penalties in this game, but did look good on the offensive end, spreading out the ice, making himself available for key passes. You also had Nico Hischier picking up the assist. He had a blocked goal in this game that was critical, and maybe we'd look even less favorably on Vitek coming out of this one if that had gone in. I think it was also Colin Miller that did a nice job bringing it off the doorstep as well. So there were moments here when this game could have maybe gone a different direction earlier than it did in the third period. maybe this was a real back and forth battle all the way through the second and into the third. Instead, it felt like the Devils were well in control and then really just collapsed there between the pipes. You got Mikey McLeod getting a goal here as well. Lazar picked up an assist. I said Jack Hughes, he had a goal and 2 assists as well, including an assist to brother Luke, which was absolutely fantastic as Luke grabbed his goal. And we'll do a little check-in here on where he stands in the rookie point totals. He's right there. You know, it's funny. We've talked a lot about offensively, how we're waiting for his game to really explode, or at least I am, because I set such a high bar for him coming into this first really full season. He's a rookie. But I set a high standard, and I'm looking for him to start to get there. And really, his all-around game has come together in a great way. So the Devils put a bunch of shots into the back of the net. The offense is really humming right now. Now, defensively, it's been pretty good, right? I think by and large, you look over across, they've won 4 out of the last 5 games, in case you hadn't noticed. There has been consistency there. Now, you bring up Nemec because you have Dougie Hamilton go down. Smith is dealing with his suspension. He'll be back here. So you had to do some shuffling. Nemec had over 21 minutes of ice time. Now, the Devils didn't have a lot of power plays last night and had a lot of penalty kill minutes, so that kind of skewed it a little bit. I believe it was the lowest ice time for Luke Hughes of the season, just over 16 minutes. So you had this weird dynamic getting created here inside of the defensive pairings where, yeah, listen, it's you got rookies and rookies together. You've got Colin Miller, who's playing pretty well at times. You've got guys like Kevin Ball, who I thought was a little inconsistent last night. There was some careless plays here, on the defensive end, a couple of turnovers, especially in the third period. And this is where, coming up in a second, when we talk about Vitek, it's just you're trying to thread a razor thin needle. And make no mistake about it. These are the 98%, maybe a little less, I don't know, 95%, we're talking percentages, is on Vitek. But you're trying to thread such a fine needle. That's what the reality is when it comes to him. And we'll discuss that and the goaltending in the short term here in just 1 minute. Before we do, though, got to tell you about our friends over at DraftKings. They are, of course, the title sponsor of our post-game wrap-up. You know that you can download the app right now and use promo code THPN, where new customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on hockey. Oh, baby. Betting just $5 on hockey. So if we go over there right now, listen, it's going to be an off day. You got to find somewhere to spend your money, though. Why don't we take a look at the Dallas Stars, Florida Panthers? Dallas is on the alternate line there, plus 1.5 goals, minus 245. But the over-under in this one is set at 6 and minus 115. And if you want to go money line, the Dallas Stars are plus 110 right now. You know what? I'll take them. I'm taking the Dallas Stars in this one on the road. We'll see how that shakes out. Check back in with me later. The bottom line is that that DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NHL, and the crown is yours. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please pay responsibly on behalf of Boot Hills Casino and Resort. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in our friends to the north, Ontario, Canada. Bonus bets expire again 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources. NHL and NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2023. All rights, why they are reserved. And what we're not going to be too reserved about is how we feel about Vitek right now. Now, listen, I am always of the mind that players regress back to the mean. But what I mean is a player that is known. I'll use as we've done before, make a little adjustment to ourselves here. When we think about a player who has at least some track record of consistency, the idea is that he'll get back to that at some point, right? That even when it looks like it's never been worse than it has before, they are going to end up being pretty close to the player that they've been over the course of their career. The problem right now is that Vitek, coming off of a career year in several statistical categories a season ago, just flat out does not look the same this season. He's unsure of himself between the pipes. The weird part is, and we'll dive into these numbers deeper, it's like I know that the rebounds look atrocious, but the rebounds, I know, hockey fans don't always love the analytics of it, but the rebounds based on expected rebounds versus the ones he's given up, it's actually not a terrible percentage. Some of it feels like his rebounds are so egregious in the nature of either where they come, meaning a puck that's right in front of him and ends up being loose and given up, and whether it's for goal scoring opportunity in the moment or just resetting the offense. And sometimes it's just some of these fluky deflections. I mean, listen, this second period, he's got the butterfly save and he's kicking his leg out and he's making toe saves. He's diving across the net. The second period was good Vitek. First period, not so good Vitek. And you could even say, right, with the last second goal and Luke, okay, maybe, right? But it's still 2 goals and it's disappointing. You don't like it. And then you get to this third period. And in this third period, Vitek looks like a guy that has never played hockey before in his life. And that's really the problem right now. Now, I could tell you that by expectations, I never viewed Vitek as being an elite goaltender. So, by that standard, I don't expect him to stop the breakaway opportunities, to stop the 2-on-1s, to be the guy that stands on his head. What I do expect him to be is consistent. That's what you're asking for, is consistency, because the offense is playing electric. The defense is finding itself now more and more game by game. Still mistakes, still things to clean up, still young players, not perfect, but you just want consistency. And you don't see that from Vitek in the goal. That's the biggest issue here. Now, we'll get into this again a little bit deeper here. This is a brief wrap up, tying a bow on things. The Devils get the 6-5 win. It is a beautiful late goal in the closing stages of the third period by Jesper Bratt to get them the W. But the question becomes are the Devils in panic mode organizationally when it comes to the goaltending? Do they just turn it over to Akira, who has not been perfect either this season? Do they say we need to go out and make the big splash? Because when you start to talk about this team in totality, you start to talk about all the quality that you've seen on the defense developing its chemistry, offensively being dynamic, dealing with some injuries along the way. So are you going to start to pick apart pieces from this to go fix the goaltending? You may need to. I'm not telling you right. I'm not telling you right or wrong, but at some point you're going to have to make that hard choice. And for all of this to be said, Vitek got the win. I tongue-in-cheek said, there's nothing to fix here, right? Not a single problem that you could address. I tongue-in-cheek said, I bet Vitek wins 4 of his next 6 starts. Doesn't have to do with his play, but he can still be the guy that's in the net when you get these dubs. It's weird, man. The Devils have won 4 out of 5, and yet, right, this is the looming issue right now. So Danny and I will be back in tomorrow, breaking this down a little bit more, looking at the landscape of the NHL, and then really having the discussion. What are you willing to sacrifice to solve this problem? Or do you have any glimmer that Vitek can reclaim his form at all? Because while I'd say it's less than a 5% chance that he does, it's probably one that the Devils organizationally are more willing to look at than the fan base is right now, because they saw it a year ago. Even if he's not deep playoff run caliber goaltender, he still is good enough to get you through a season. Maybe that has run its course. You need to move on. He has been horrific. Point stop. Nothing else to be said there. And also, you have to be willing to go as far as you can for as long as you can, as long as you're still winning games. And the Devils are doing that right now. Get over to YouTube at Devils Puck Luck. Subscribe, turn on the alerts. Get over to Twitter at NJDevilsPL, at Adam Arbrecht, at Danny the Face. Over on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, all the socials at Devils Puck Luck. We're back again talking all things New Jersey Devils hockey, and whether or not this problem between the pipes can get solved. We'll see you next time.